Gut them, slaughter them, slay them, butcher them, kill, kill, kill. Never stop, never tire, keep doing the Lord's work.
There, feel the glory of necrosis and rejoice. Nurgle loves you.
Understand, every just a piece of the grand game, my master. This world, this galaxy, all of it is ours to twist and corrupt as we will. Such elaborate artistry have planned for flesh and souls that would, in your ignorance, gobble like mindless beasts. We shall cast you back to the outer dark from whence you came, for this reality is a plaything of the children of the eye, and you have no place in it.
The Chaos Gods, the primordial truth, the Four. Each Chaos God is a plethora of emotions and actions given from within the warp. They are incredibly powerful beings that are embodiments of the things they represent. Khorne is the god of war, of blood, battle, and killing, but is also the god of honor and martial prowess. Tzeentch is the god of deceit, of manipulation, magic, and trickery, but he also is the god of knowledge and learning. Nurgle is the god of death, of decay, disease, and pestilence, but so too is he the god of the way of life and of nature. Slinhesh is the god of excess, of pleasure, vice, and pride, yet she is also the god of happiness and joy. Each Chaos God is vastly unique, and each has its negative and positive traits. To claim the Chaos Gods are not but evil, malevolent beings is somewhat of an incorrect statement. The Demons of Chaos are tiny parts of these gods, given physical form. Ranging from semi-sentient to sentient, they have free will to a degree, but will always be a reflection of part of the god they serve, and will do that god's bidding. We will go over many of the types of demons soon. Most demons do not have access to the physical world and reside in the warp until they are either summoned, a warp tear happens in reality, or the demon possesses a host. Most minor demons do not have the ability of possession, but many more powerful demons prowl within the minds of some beings. For example, an individual who is increasingly brewing with hatred and anger to the point of extremes may take to violence and indulge in acts of bloodshed. This would bring them closer to Khorne and his will, as well as letting their mental barriers down. The individual may begin to get whispers and suggestions, and eventually give in and allow a demon to possess them. A more interesting example of possession are the possessed Chaos Space Marines. These beings have a symbiotic relationship with the demons they make pacts with. They live together almost as one conjoined soul, the demon taking much control in the midst of battle, allowing his physical traits to crack through the power armor. But when the fighting is over, the Chaos Space Marine may seem to be as normal as they were before. Perhaps we should discuss the armies of chaos. Let's go in order from Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, then Slinhesh. We'll talk about a plethora of units from each of the armies. Some of these are written in my own words, while some descriptions are from the wiki. Starting with Khorne. His minions are animalistic beings of pure violence and rage. Khorne is the embodiment of pure rage and bloodlust. His realm is full of battle and war, and he is by far the most brutal of the Chaos Gods. All that matters to Khorne is that blood is shed, uncaring if it is from his minions or his enemies, for Khorne cares not for whence the blood flows. Khorne's sacred number is 8. His servants yearn for nothing but battle and blood. They strive to spill blood for Khorne and take skulls for the Skull Throne. As long as they are killing, they are content. The basic foot soldier for Khorne's armies is the Bloodletter. A tall humanoid red being, they carry flaming swords and kill with mindless abandon. Moving up in size, we have the Juggernauts of Khorne. Also known by some as Khorne's unstoppable rage, these are a fusion of wrath and beast. Clad in nigh unbreakable armor, these behemoths can shrug off even the mightiest of blows. They are some of the most dangerous and powerful beasts of the warp. Atop these monsters ride Bloodletters who have shown great murderous ability. Something uncommon amongst Khorne's followers is that of ranged weapons, but this doesn't stop the Skull Cannon. The Skull Cannon is a merge of flesh, demon, and brass. It hungers for nothing but slaughter and is commandeered by 2 Bloodletters. The cannon fires that of flaming skulls, screaming as they hurtle towards the enemy. At the top of the food chain, we have the Bloodthirster. A Bloodthirster is the greater demon of Khorne, and each is a manifestation of the unreasoning rage and savagery of total war. It is said that there are no more powerful masters of battle in the entire galaxy than the greater demons of the Blood God, and that none may stand before them. They are the very essence of brutality, every blow ever struck and life ever taken in anger distilled into a single towering form of iron and sinew. As the living embodiments of war, rage, and murder, Bloodthirsters represent the bloodiest side of warfare and are renowned as the greatest warriors amongst demonkind. Only the boldest and most heroic of mortal champions would even stand the slimmest chance of survival in combat with a Bloodthirster, and an even smaller chance of victory. Now let's delve into the treacherous realm of Tzeentch. Tzeentch is the god of trickery, magic, deceit, and knowledge. He spends his time scheming and toying with mortals in his grand, universal, scaling plans. Tzeentch has a plan for every conceivable possibility within the mortal and immortal realms. He spreads lies and knowledge all the same. His sacred number is 9. Tzeentch's minions are embodiments of lies, fate, and twisted reality. Many who gaze upon such beings are left with insanity, while others will try to communicate with greater demons of Tzeentch to unlock secrets of the universe. The common foot soldier is the horror of Tzeentch. These creatures are magic manifestations. To the mortal eye, they are almost incomprehensible, taking on odd and impossible forms of twisting flesh and ethereal limbs. For all their confusing looks, they do have two distinct traits. They are either blue or pink. The pink horrors cartwheel and frolic across the battlefield, cackling as they fire off deadly bolts of magic. These flames of sorcery will cause major mutation, turning an enemy to glass, a pile of infants, or any other horrific fate one could imagine. When a pink horror is killed, it splits into two beings, those being blue horrors. These are sullen and angry creatures who will launch themselves at their killer. Once a blue horror is killed, it splits into tiny beings called brimstone horrors who wish to burn everything in sight. Next we have the screamers. Screamers are hovering beasts of Tzeentch, able to traverse the void of space and the immaterium. They bring terror to the battlefield. As they fly, screamers leave behind conch shells of multicolored sparks, and they emit the piercing high-frequency whine that gives these creatures their name. The few who have fought these creatures and survived explain that the scream of the sky sharks has a profoundly disconcerting psychological effect. The more common vehicle amongst the armies of Tzeentch is the burning chariot. Burning chariots of Tzeentch hurtle across the realm of chaos like incandescent meteors, bringing the great sorcerer's chosen emissaries to every corner of existence. As they blaze through the heavens, the chariots of Tzeentch, usually mistaken for comets, are oftentimes interpreted as omens of great and terrible wars upon the superstitious worlds of the Imperium of Man. The exalted flamers who ride atop these burning chariots are able to channel magical flame to a far greater extent than their lesser brethren. They can conjure up great billowing sheets of warp energy or hurl bolts of sorcerous change that make the very air sizzle with their passing. The discs and screamers that make up the bizarre chariot are drawn to raw magic like moths to a flame, and therefore also to the exalted flamers, who exude tasty sorcery from every pore and wrinkle of their coruscating flesh. Sometimes a burning chariot will even be accompanied by a handful of surly blue horrors, always ready to associate themselves with anyone other than the irritatingly cheerful pink horrors. Last but not least is the Lord of Change. By far the most powerful demon of Tzeentch, these beings wreak mass destruction with incredible sorceries. Those who gaze upon these twisted prisms of pure magic begin to feel their sanity shred and reason slip away. Faced by a being of change incarnate's bedrock beliefs crumble and twist, and the mind seeks firm purchase in vain. Treachery, deceit, capriciousness, these are the hallmarks of the Lord of Change. Tzeentch's greatest servants weave schemes upon schemes, a dense tangle of intermingling threads so convoluted and eon-spanning that none can grasp their true purpose. A confrontation with the Lord of Change is likely to occur when and where the creature wills it. Few have ever managed to get the drop on these servants of Tzeentch, for the Changer of Ways is the master of destiny itself, and his greatest servants possess a portion of that power. Now let's take a look at the plague god, Nurgle. Nurgle is a being of twisted decay and pestilence. He revels in blight and disease. Nurgle spends much of his time concocting new strains of disease and infections, brewing them in his massive cauldron. Many see him as a benevolent god, as he appears to genuinely love his followers and children, delivering them from their pain and suffering, helping them embrace it. His sacred number is 7. His children are that of disgusting, horrifying beings, yet many are incredibly cheerful and happy as they are within the presence of the love of Grandfather Nurgle. The basic foot soldier of the armies of Plight is the Plague Bearer. These beings have been created by the souls of mortals who have perished to Nurgle's rot. The Plague Bearer is a disgusting sight. Pus-covered bodies, exposed innards, and bony limbs, they shamble across the battlefield chanting hymns and constantly counting. Yet opposite to their appearance, they are actually incredibly tough, their father giving them the gift of resilience and a numbness to all pain. This is one of the most common traits of all of Nurgle's demons and followers. Next, we have the Beast of Nurgle. The Beast of Nurgle is a horrific sight to behold. Slug-like bodies, faces of writhing tentacles, pustule and rot-covered bodies, useless flapping feet, they are truly a disgusting image. Yet aside from this, they are nothing but joyous. It acts like that of a curious cat or enthused dog, rushing towards the enemy to discover new things and make new friends. Of course, in the process it slaughters and spreads rot wherever it goes, but to its simple mind it is doing nothing but playing. When employed by the Death Guard, they use the beasts as line-breaking units, usually baiting them with their tanks, in which they love to chase. Most men are crushed instantly under the beast's immense weight. Along with the Beast of Nurgle, one of the few fast units within Nurgle's armies are the Plague Drones. Mounted atop massive rot flies, high-ranking plague bearers crash into the foe with their flyers' incredible bulk. It is said that the rot flies are so hideous looking they scar the mind. The flies claw and stab at their foes with hairy plague-covered limbs and inject diseases into the enemy with their stingers. At the same time, the plague bearers atop cut down mortals with their plague swords and hurl clouds of infection. This terror is usually enough to make an enemy unit or even battle line flee and make the drones a great terror unit. At the top of Nurgle's ranks stomps the Great Unclean Ones, the literal embodiment of of plague, these joyous behemoths lumber across the battlefield, creating carnage and pestilence wherever they walk. By far the most inconceivably disgusting of Nurgle's children, these blocks of flesh are a sight to see. Their forms are squat and mountainous, covered in rotting flesh and open sores that weep foul rivulets of pus. Hot ropes of intestines dribble out of huge tears in their enormous bloated and distended bellies. This horrific girth is supported by two impossibly small and atrophied-looking legs, and their inordinately large bulbous heads are crowned by enormous stag-like antlers. Clusters of pustules and weeping buboes erupt from his hide, birthing small swarms of giggling nurglings. Noxious juices seep from dozens of infected sores, leaving a glistening trail of mucus in the Great Unclean One's wake. Few mortals have the stomach, let alone the will, to oppose such a being. Great Unclean Ones are Nurgle's lieutenants, the field generals of his plague legions. As monstrous and horrific as their appearance is, these greater demons possess a parental affection at odds with this nightmarish form. Gregarious and sentimental, the Great Unclean One takes pride in the achievements of his followers and looks upon all the creatures in his legion as his children, and his underlings look upon him as an embodiment of Grandfather Nurgle. Each greater demon pays careful attention to all of his followers and is noticeably proud of their appearance and endearing behavior. The Great Unclean One takes delight in his minions' smallest spoils, reveling in the variety and effulgence of their poxes and heaping praise upon them with vociferous proclamations. With a wave of his arm, such a monstrosity sends forth his talibans, booming words of encouragement and gurgling guffaws across the battlefield. This boundless energy and drive is possessed by all Great Unclean Ones, constantly working to extend the process of rot and decay. They are heedless of their own comfort, while parts of the galaxy still remain untouched by Nurgle's bounty. Lastly, we have Slinhesh. The youngest of the four Chaos Gods, Slinhesh is the god of excess, perfection, lust, pride, joy, and love. The Dark Prince is usually greatly misjudged as simply a drugs and sex god, but such a thing is far from the truth. Slinhesh is happy while her followers revel in debauchery, yes, but she's also pleased when her followers feel accomplishment in their actions. And if the humans were to still celebrate it, she would be overjoyous on Christmas Day, a day of giving and large amounts of happiness. Her sacred number is 6. Slinhesh is very unique, as she was created by none other than the Eldar themselves. Her origins bring us back to the history of the Eldar. The Eldar were once an incredibly powerful race akin to that of gods themselves. Nothing threatened them, and they lived in perfect societies. Yet with this perfection brought boredom, and this boredom soon led to decadence. The Eldar grew more and more obsessed with pleasure, so much that something in the warp began to stir. Eventually the Eldar became so debased and excessive that they brought birth to a god. We will go more into depth with the Eldar in a future video. The result of their horrid civilization and indulgences brought to creation Slinhesh, the Dark Prince, she who thirsts. This event is named the Fall. It happened in an instant, the excess spilling over into one massive scream of pain and pleasure. Nearly every Eldar in existence was consumed in the blink of an eye, and the rest were left in anarchy and terror. This is what caused the Eldar craft worlds. In desperation, the Eldar fled their homes on planet-sized crafts made of wraithbone called craft worlds. A once noble, all-powerful race reduced to ashes in mere seconds. Since this birth, the Eldar live in constant fear of she who thirsts, for if they die without the proper protections put in place, Slinhesh will devour their soul. The forces of Slinhesh are simultaneously filled with horror and beauty. Perhaps their most common trait is their incredible speed. Let's take a look. The full soldier of Slinhesh is the Demonette. A Demonette is a maiden of ecstasy, and like all of Slinhesh's forces, is a sight to behold. Their physical appearance is confounding, at once impossibly twisted and shamefully intriguing. The hermaphroditic form of a Demonette is both repulsive and nearly impossible for a mortal to turn away from. In battle, Demonettes are lithe, dexterous killers whose claws can tear their opponents to shreds or lure their mortal victims into their clutches. Next we have Seekers of Slinhesh. These monstrous cavalry race down the battlefield at blinding speeds. Riding atop the abominations are Demonettes. The beasts are symbols of the Dark Prince's free spirit, galloping elegantly wherever they go. The Seeker possesses a tongue several meters long and can taste the desires of mortals, constantly craving to discover more. The Seekers are the immortal huntresses of the Dark Prince and cause terror within the foes of Slinhesh. The most common vehicle within the retinue of pleasure is the Seeker Chariot. A Seeker Chariot of Slinhesh, also known as a machinery of blissful pain, is a demonic construct in the form of a great war chariot used by the demons who serve Slinhesh, the Prince of Pleasure. Pulled by the demonic beasts known as the Steeds of Slinhesh and driven by Demonettes, these creations have often seen battle in the great game played by the ruinous powers for dominance within the realm of chaos. Seeker Chariots are not subtle creations. As the straining demonic steeds pull the secret chariot to full speed, swirling shapes sear the air with blinding streaks of the most vibrant and luxurious colors. The metal axles screech in disharmony akin to the wailing of tormented souls, a terrible cacophony that ululates between the chanting of the demonettes and the lithing hosts of the steeds. When the chariot finally crashes home, the demonettes dance from yoke to spar, laughing as their every disemboweling strike weaves bloody trails in the air. At the top rank, we have the Keeper of Secrets. The appearance of a Keeper of Secrets, more than any other of the greater demons, can vary wildly. Each of these huge and powerful creatures are created by the capricious whims of its master, a unique statement of the Prince of Chaos's particular mood and muse at the time of the demon's creation. Some have androgynous faces pierced with rings, whilst others appear more bestial with bovine features that have fanged maws and flickering forked tongues. All of these loathsome creatures are several times the height of an ordinary human being. They possess jewel-like eyes, their heads are crowned by a splendid outcrop of horns, and they slither forward using the most sinuous and seductive of movements. Embodiments of the alluring power of pleasure, the very presence of a Keeper of Secrets is enough to bring even the most stalwart warrior to their knees in anguish and ecstasy. Pain is simply another sensation to be bestowed upon others or to be enjoyed when others inflicted, for all sensation is a blessing to a Keeper of Secrets. These potent servants of Slinhesh feed upon the rampaging hope and the thrill of fear to be found within their enemies as they feast upon terror and despair. As despoilers of purity, Keepers of Secrets are known for taking the noble ideals of others and twisting them to the pursuit of selfish ambitions and self-gratification. A Keeper of Secrets exists to destroy dreams and fulfill nightmares, growing ever more powerful on the intensifying emotions of those that fight them. That brings us to the end of the forces of the Chaos Gods. Of course, there's still much more to be said about each god and their armies, and I will cover them all separately in their own unique videos. For now, I hope you learned something new about the Chaos Gods and enjoyed some lore. In the future, I will delve into each god, their realm, and their special characters. If you'd like to learn more about Slinhesh, go check out my Slinhesh lore plus shoulder workout video, or my Tales from the Warp, the Silver Knight video. Enough talk though, let's get into the workout. For the workout, we will be incorporating each Chaos God into the exercises. We will be doing heavy singles as our top set for Nurgle, slow and undeniable. We will then do 3x6 sets for our compound movements for Khorne using strength, endurance, and brutality. We will then do hypertrophy sets for our isolation movements for Slinhesh, using speed and pain to grow those static muscles. For Tzeentch, we will be resting 3 minutes in between our compound sets and 1 minute between our hypertrophy sets because, first of all, Tzeentch is a dial, and second of all, it's very smart to give yourself adequate rest times, especially for compound movements. So overall, this is the workout. First, we start with our compounds with top sets of 1. And remember, top sets are a set that you do before your actual sets. So for this is a top set of 1 and then sets of 3x6. So you're going to do a single set of 1 at 90%. I think I did 100% for these, but it's up to you. And then you'll do your actual sets. So here we go. Top sets of 1. 3x6 squats, 3x6 bench press, 3x6 deadlifts. Then we have 3x10 isolation exercises being quad extensions, glute raises, lateral raises, bent over lateral raises, chin-ups, and shrugs. Pretty intense workout, but should be doable for most intermediate/advanced lifters. here's the workout. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A little bit of a shorter one for the lore today, I know, and I know that we didn't get to go super in depth, but I'm just happy that I can finally record and release one of these longer videos, because I've been busy and have been in between houses, so it's been very hard to be able to record for more than like 10 to 20 minutes at a time, even like 5 minutes at a time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Gonna start to really work hard on this channel, so I hope that you guys will stick with me, because we've been seeing a lot of growth, and I want to keep the growth going and like actually get really serious about this. So yeah, I really appreciate your guys' support, and I love you guys a lot. So stay tuned for the next video. Comment below which faction you'd like to see, or even I can do a character and theme a workout around a single character. I'd be very happy to do that. So comment below what you want next. Stay jacked out there. I love you guys. See you later.